Hello, 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 hello. Good evening. Good evening to all of us. Good evening to all Ghanaian farmers, especially poultry farmers. Today, we are looking at Newcastle disease. The Newcastle disease has been a thorn in the flesh of many farmers. And if you've practiced farming for quite a long time, I think most of us have had one or two issues with the Newcastle disease. So today, our doctor is around. Last week, we looked at this same disease, the Newcastle disease, but we were not very fortunate because the network didn't really help. But today, I pray and hope that the network will have mercy on us and we will have a good link to do all the necessary things we have to do. So I welcome you all to the live session. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. And you can join us when you want to ask a question. We will put the link on the comments section. We will put the link on the comment section. So when you see the link, as soon as you see the link, wait till the question time. You have to wait till the question time before you come on, because when you come on during the presentation, we won't let you enter the backstage. Okay, and when it's time for questions and you come on, you just have to enter your name, and there is this button there says enter studio, and you click on it and you enter the studio to ask your question. So anytime you want to ask a question, kindly do so. And it will help all of us. So if you are on any of our platforms, I mean the Mpuntu Farms WhatsApp platforms, the link of the Facebook and YouTube has been shared on it already. Okay, the link has been shared on it. So you can just click on the link and join us on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so we are looking at getting about 20 or so people before we start. Doctor is around, and currently we have just about 6 people watching us. So it's increasing. Let's do well to invite people to join, because today we are doing a recap of what we did last week. Last week wasn't favorable because of the network. So we are doing a recap, and after the recap, we will allow questions. Okay, we will open the floor for questions. So if you have any question on Newcastle, how it comes about, how it is transmitted from one bird to another, maybe you've gotten some on your farm and you want us to help you with regards to how you are going to help these bears be free from the Newcastle, then that will be the time for you to ask all the questions you have to ask. Okay, so we are live. We are live. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Mpuntu Farms. So you just search Mpuntu Farms. If you have the link, share to a friend. Okay, because this is absolutely free and it's a master class. This is free for all farmers, all poultry farmers. Doctor should have been taking some consultation fees, but we are blessed to have him on the program that we organized, and He's willing to teach us. He's willing to show us all the things that we need to know. So please, don't be selfish. Send to other people who are also farmers to join. Yes. So share the link. I would say share the link. Okay. So share the link for other people to join. You can share it on your status, can share it wherever for people to also see. Send it to a friend. Okay. If you are in any poultry farming group, put it there. Put the link there. Let people from far and near come and join so that we all learn together and we become great farmers in order to make our country food secured. Okay, so anyway, so yaba Mpuntu Farms, any Dr. Chairman. So the program is time with Dr. Chairman. And last week, network na ndi amoaye nti and the last week ni na no yes also I the ahyɛ ase foforo ha na yɛwie a yɛbɛbie kwan so ama obi a ɔwɔ nsɛmbisa biara bisa sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛte saa yareɛ bɔne wei ho nsɛm na yɛnya ho nimdeɛ na yɛtumi de asi ano kwan sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a ɛmbɔ yɛ ka because wɔn nim sɛ poultry farming ankasa no ɛyɛ adeɛ a ɛyɛ sikasɛm na imagine sɛ wakɔfa wo mmoa aba na wo mmoa bɛɛ 1,000 na sɛ yɛse Newcastle no ɛtumi ku mmoa over 90% a na kyerɛ sɛ wo mmoa no ne nyinaa ɛba abɛyɛ dɛ ɛba abɛsa nti ɛna nnwumere doctor wɔ ha sɛ ɔbɛkyerɛkyerɛ na wakyerɛ sɛnea yare ɛfa so ba ɛkwan a n'akwan te sɛnea n'akwan te ɛne deɛ ɛtumi yɛ dɛ ɛba nti share link no ma wo nua wowɔ poultry farm page biara wobɛtumi de link no ayɛ dɛ ato so na yɛn nyinaa yɛmbra na yɛmbɛsua adeɛ ɛfiri sɛ nimdeɛ wɔ yi yɛnka sɛ me deɛ menim dodoodo nti me deɛ mensua daabi ɛse ɛpo koraa nsuo yɛ dɛn ɛtɔ gum nti sɛ wonim koraa no a sɛ wote sɛ yɛkyerɛ biribi a saa so kɔsua biribi a one single asɛm bi bɛtɔ wo tirim a ɛno deɛ wontee da aha saa na adesua teɛ nti yɛda mo ase sɛ mo ajoin ni nti mɛfrɛ doc na waba doc.
Oh, Dakota. Good evening.
Evening. Yɛda ase sɛ w'ajoin ni yɛn na ɛna nnwumere so sɛnea ɛsi last week no yɛbɔ mpaeɛ sɛ ɛnsi biam na ɛnɛ no yɛbɛnya correct network na yɛde adi dwuma no na yɛwie so a yɛbɛma ahwɛfoɔ so abisa nsɛnsɛm nti doc ɛnɛ deɛ deɛ a na amanfoɔ ami ni last week no asɛ anyɛ yi nti this week deɛ ɛnɛ deɛ ball belt na questions na ɛbɛba paa okay nti doc mensɛ wo mmerɛ megya ama wo na owie a na me so mabam ɛda ase
Good evening. Fortunate. So today we are going to go over what we did last week, so that on one, because of poor reception today, couldn't get the concept from. They'll be able to get it this time around. So last week we discussed Newcastle disease. And then, just as we've been doing in the previous lectures, we are going to talk about the disease itself, how the disease is transmitted, how we can identify the disease, how to treat the disease, how to control, how to prevent, and then some general recommendations. So most of you already know that Newcastle is a viral disease. Viral disease nature is a virus na this ayare we ba no. And the way this virus works no, is very contagious. It easily spreads. Once it enters your farm, you realize that within a short period, that almost the entire farm no, is affected. And this is a disease that primarily affects birds or poultry birds, but other animals too can be affected. And we know because of its high mortality rate it results in some form of economic losses. Because just as Dacosta said earlier, say imagine say wako fat new birds abano Newcastle, and then you are losing over 90% of your birds. So imagine Sika and even they will check price was roster, and then they don't even get to point of lay, and then they begin to die from Newcastle. You lose a lot of money. And then the worst part of this disease, they say, even the few who survive no crown, by the time that they begin to lay, you might not be able to reach maximum egg production capacity. So where we shouldn't joke at all with it. And this disease I can once me, it can affect or present itself in, let's say, three main ways. We can have it presenting itself through the respiratory way. Respiratory nature say they will show signs of respiratory distress. So ABR, they'll be coughing, they'll be sneezing, there will be blockage in their pathway, nasal pathway. So any sign that you might even think say a CRD, because the respiratory way, will also present in the form of CRD, and then we the lame farmers can mistake it for CRD, but it might not be CRD. But if you are in Newcastle now, best name. And then also there's the nervous pathway, and the most common one you tell who local chicks name. So realize that the local birds when the season comes, it will be then the head is twisted to some angle, and then they will just be going around circling. That's the nervous part of this same disease. So if you be found on Newcastle, but they only presented the torticollis and as a twisted neck, and then the circling, it means that person experienced the nervous signs of the Newcastle disease. Maybe I won't know the presented to say CRD, and then you might mistake it as CRD. And then the third one is the digestive one. Most commonly, greenish watery stools. Now, every farmer will tell you so. When greenish watery stools, now they can easily say, "Oh, wait, the name Newcastle." But this is just one of the ways. There are three main ways. You can have the respiratory. That one they will show signs of TCRD, and then there's the nervous system, and on that they will show signs of paralysis. They come out here just circling around, and then the third one is the most common one now. The watery greenish stools, and then because this disease is a viral disease, it can affect trade across boundaries, across borders. So we realize that in severe cases of Newcastle, when there's a major outbreak, yet me declare ban on sale and then consumption of poultry and then poultry products, just as we do in avian influenza. So realize that avian influenza bar, you are not allowed to consume, you are not allowed to sell or keep your animals. So in severe cases of Newcastle too, we can have the same thing happening. Newcastle, it's a disease that morbidity is very high. Morbidity means illness. So the spread is very fast. Now, those who begin to show signs of illness is very fast. And then mortality rate is very high also, especially in young bears. They might not really die from it, but most as an infection it is there's a high probability say you will lose a lot of bears. And even they survive and then get to point of lay and a maturity now, especially in the laying bears. You realize that your egg production might not be the best. You might be having between 50, 60, 65% of production your bears. And then the egg shells and egg quality will be poor. So this is quite common to farmers need your mutane. To who say we are in production about firm and I say almost shells now yes start be then they can assume to some extent say oh maybe a Newcastle and then we back at us maybe a booster more and I say compared to Newcastle no more. So these are the common ones that we all know. And then because you lose a lot of bears it results in economic losses. As I stated earlier, no one bears aboarding say no more buyer. They are just dying. And then even the ones that survive too, they're not really able to give you very good egg production. So you are just feeding them and then you're not really making any returns from it. Maybe going for one of these days, I'll give us a short presentation on the economic impact of some of the losses we have on the farm. And then Newcastle can be zoonotic. Zoonotic say this disease can be transmitted from the animals to human beings. So if you are born in Newcastle now, that's a biosecurity and on pointer. You can get the Newcastle infection. Just saying in humans, you might have conjunctivitis. I bet you say when you're in your polo, bones say eyelids national show, and then there will be some lesions over there. Okay, it's almost like Apollo Bisa. That's the zoonotic aspect of. So we should be very careful because if you are not keen on our biosecurity, we the human beings can also be affected. Now to disease transmission. So Senya always we do is we talk about the disease and then how it is transmitted. So one of the main ways that Newcastle is transmitted is through the air. If you are affected, not all breathing in or breathing out, not or spreading our honum. So I mentioned earlier, I said the respiratory pathway, when the animals are sneezing, coughing, wheezing, gasping for air, all these are ways that they end up shedding the virus in the environment. So all the bears around them can easily be affected from the infection. And then we have the environmental factors. Wild bears, most of the farm, even there are bears coming in and going out. There are ducks there. There are wild bears. Domutu, bola bear, domunyina nam honumbi. These bears are usually carriers. Into ono yare no wonu, but embo ne yare. To ono de onam na or chicheko sa but ono embo ne yare. Those are called carriers. So most of the wild bears now we have are carriers of some of these viral infections. It doesn't affect them. But so about farm honuma, they can easily spread it over there. And then if you are not careful, your bears will come down with the infection. Your feed that you are giving them can be contaminated with the virus, the water, because man oko did obehumi egwu and so no be for so abepeke no no so ahumi na afa. You get it? So all these are ways the virus is being spread over there. Formites. We've discussed earlier, say formites are all inanimate objects on the farmer pathogens can reside on. So even the drinkers themselves, if you don't regularly clean them or disinfect them, they become breeding grounds for pathogens. Okay. And then mechanical transmission. You while human being no crowd war honum no. If you don't ensure biosecurity, you just walk in there with your same boots. At the end of the age of farm, you go to the feed mill to get feed, and then you just walk back. You need baby other farmer no. Yari one honum. Tie bi ono so free farm straight na aba. Also we share no call ya na at the end of the call honum no. You enter your farm with the same clothing. You end up be picking up and then sending and then transmitting pathogens to your farm and then to other farms. So always let's be careful about some of these things. So with regards to the disease transmission, there's the aerosol. That one is through the air, where the infected animals through their breathing usually spread it in the environment. And then once it gets into the environment, other animals can pick it up. And then also wild birds. Once there's easy access onto your farm, wild birds are able to enter. These wild birds are usually carriers, and then they can end up bringing the virus onto your farm. How can we identify this disease? So at the beginning of the presentation, I told you that this disease can present itself in three main ways. You can have it through the respiratory way, the nervous way, and then the digestive. With regard to the respiratory, that's when the animals will be showing signs of CRD. And then if you are not careful, you might mistake it for CRD. You say you did all the CRD treatment and then it didn't work. But ABIANA at that time, they weren't suffering from CRD, but they were suffering from the respiratory form of the Newcastle disease. So with this, they'll be showing signs of sneezing, they'll be gasping for air, they'll be coughing, there'll be nasal discharges. Okay, so all these are signs of Newcastle. We usually don't know, but we mistake them for CRD. Next is the nervous one. So with that one, the animals can show signs of depression. There'll be tremors, ujina hormones and the home popo kakra. There might be paralysis. Those are one that hormone teams or engine hormone. There's twisting of the neck. The scientific term is torticollis. Both say, usually see it in the local bears. Both say about the conwachia bisa, and then circling at the same spot, they will just be going round, 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 round like that. And the third one is the digestive one that we all know. The greenish stool that we see, it can be in the form of watery diarrhea. And then also there's decreased egg production, especially in the laying birds. Most all of a sudden you are getting, let's say, 10 crates, and now you are making about just 4 or 5 in a day. And the one thing you notice is that your egg shells become a bit soft. So maybe but you are getting soft shell eggs, and then you be like, oh, just go and get dicalcium for them. You can add all the dicalcium, but since the main cause is not the calcium deficiency, you might not get the desired result that you are looking for. Okay, so it's always very important to also consult your vet. We know that you, the farmers, you have all the experience in the world. No one is taking that away from you. But at least once you have vet there, maybe you listen to them. If you don't really believe what they are saying, then go and do what your fellow farmers might tell you. But when you're not saying you have to go back to your vet, okay? Because you might mistake some of these things as other things, but that might not be the case. So always consult your vet, and then if you're not say then you make the decision for yourself. Also, in the very severe form of this illness, no, there is sudden death. Most the birds are active all of a sudden. The following morning you go there, and then a few of them are dead, and then usually the mortality sort of progress. So maybe in 3 weeks, maybe 6, 8. The following day, it goes up. Okay, so this could be signs of Newcastle. They don't really show any signs of illness, but you just enter the pen one day and then you begin to experience some form of mortalities. You realize some loss of appetite too. And then there's swelling around the eyes and the neck. Well, so if you are not careful, you might think say it is infectious coryza. In severe cases, you can have swelling around the eyes. Okay. However, it could be Newcastle rather and not infectious coryza. So all these are ways that we use to identify the infection. So once you guys know this now, it will help you in at least maybe providing some form of first aid while you wait to consult your vet. Tebia, okay, then you can maybe you call your vet, you're not able to reach him. You call any of your pharmacy, you are not able to reach them. Based on these teachings that we are doing, it gives you a fair idea of some of these things, and then at least in the interim, you're able to start some form of first aid for them while you wait to get in touch with more experienced people. Okay. Now we are going to talk about a few treatment protocols. So we talk about how the disease is, how it is transmitted, how to identify the disease, and then what to do when we see the disease on our farm. Newcastle is a virus, so you can't treat it. No, we can only provide some form of supportive care. You can't treat the virus. No, into unya yare no wɔ hɔ na so bi ba na ɔsi oh wɛduro bi wɔ hɔnom na ɛbɛboa clear Newcastle na ma wa. It's not true. Okay, it's not true. You can't treat the virus. We give things to them and then it helps to boost the animal's immune system so that the animals are sort of able to fight the infection themselves. Into obi mba no more BBI, yes, or more BBI, but it is not going to entirely take care of the Newcastle infection. No, you can't treat viruses. So usually we give antibiotic vitamins, okay, and then the antibiotic aspect in it goes to fight against secondary bacterial infections because we've studied earlier on that once the infection sets in, sometimes it brings down the immune system of the animal. So immune system of the animal never fema other infections and around and you know say harm one will now become opportunistic and then they're able to cause illness in the animal. So usually Newcastle infections say or in the viral infections you usually get mixed infections. To both na salmonella swabim, abia pasteurella swabim, because immune system of the animal has gone down and hence and can even be on when say causing area in the animal end up taking over and then causing illness in the animal. So we are giving usually the antibiotic that we give is to help combat the secondary bacterial infection that can occur. But we are not fighting against the Newcastle, no. But the cascading effect of bacterial infection can be causing. That's what we are trying to tackle, okay? And the vitamins that I give is to also help boost the immune system, to help the animal also produce more antibodies. Obetumi de akɔ etia yare no, bɛnyɛ no na ɛkɔko etia yare no directly. And then I've listed a few of these good antibiotic vitamins that you can use. Tetracholinate is a very good one. Oxalate 2 is very good. Pen strip 2 is very good. So especially the young animals, I prefer to give pen strip. But muni kakrana, I prefer to give tetracholinate and then oxalate. So since Newcastle treatment, it's not really there like that, there is the chance of the zoonotic potential occurring. And I explained earlier, I said you usually get the conjunctivitis, in those who directly handle the animals. So you should be very careful during that period. Until you say you show signs of Newcastle, they are showing some of the signs that we listed in the previous slide now. Make sure you stay on guard with your biosecurity. You're always washing your hand using disinfectant, spraying the place, and then things like that. Control measures. You cannot treat it as I've said. We only support it. And then the next thing after trying to support it is to reduce how the disease is spread on your farm. Okay, that's what the control measures has to do. We are trying to control how the disease is spread over there. So in order to control it, ensure proper biosecurity measures. So ensure that you are maintaining proper hygiene over there. There's adequate disinfectant. There's a foot bath or foot dip before you enter the place. Else you'll be spreading the infection over there. Maybe the illness might start in just a particular room. But since you are the only person taking care of the animals, no, you move from one room to the other, and then you end up, since only biosecurity proper biosecurity measures in you, you end up spreading it to the other rooms. However, and biosecurity measures are on top. First of all, it might not even come to your farm in the first place. And I should, in case say it even comes to your farmer, to be you'll be able to localize it and then control how it is spread to the other places. Okay. So during this period, always make sure that you are complying strictly to the biosecurity measures. And then the next is to do proper and then regular disinfection. So you can be spraying your place. And then once again, these viruses are very strong. They can resist some of the disinfectant that we use. But this process now we are trying to let you get is to help reduce the viral load and then reduce the chances of the pathogens spreading on your farm. Okay. So when our is just to reduce the risk or the chances of the Newcastle infection spreading. But enkokuno, no, enkokuno. Next is to isolate sick animals. So once you see some of the signs that we listed earlier now, immediately isolate them. Mortalities were honma can immediately pick them up between their collar VSD so that they run tests for you. By the end of the day, you get your results. So usually with the panel, usually they'll call you back later in the afternoon. But with these teachings, based on what you are suspecting, you can start maybe some form of first aid. It's by the time already you started something, and by the following day, you'll be able to treat or manage the infection more purposefully. So once, let's say, the infection is confirmed on your farm now, the vets will also relay that information to the authorities because, as I said, it is a notifiable disease. So we have to report it to the appropriate channel so that we know how best to control it and then reduce how it is spread to other areas. Prevention. The main way to prevent Newcastle is biosecurity again. So your biosecurity is very important. And then some of the chemicals you can use are quinside, omnicide, D4. Most of the disinfectants now are ending inside no. In the viral infections, they are very good for use. Okay. That is the best way for you to prevent it because if your biosecurity is on point, you reduce the chances of so be what pathogens no one know about farmer. Since you let the person clean, step inside the foot bath, change the apparel now. So be crowd on by the time we do baby abes no one. Now one man yi ne ho bebre it reduces chances of them bringing infective doses into the farm. Okay, to be about honum na you direct them where to go. Maybe about running sa, maybe about ne ho, maybe ordering na betia disinfectant na foot bath before they enter your place. All these reduce the chances. Okay, all these help to reduce the chances. So the first one is biosecurity, and then the next one is vaccination. So realize that on your chart, we were first and second Newcastle, and then there's even one intermediate one, and then before even 16th week. These are very important. And can say, oh, me the main one endorse into me second one, me first Newcastle. We are doing it on a regular basis because this Newcastle it's endemic in Ghana here. It's endemic. It will be beer. was assassinating baby or Ghana has say. So you have to be very careful. So once your biosecurity is not on point, the chances of the infection coming on your farm is very high. Okay. And then the most common ones on the farm, we have Lasota, Clone 30, New Kavak. All these ones are easily HB1, they are all easily available. Okay. The next thing is also comply to the chart now or supply a day man. So realize that QPES bear say you don't start your vaccination in the first week. You start around I think 14 for the 28. Yes. On the 14 for the 21st day. Either second or third week on our shares here. So who kofana who can say oh with the meaning say yeah in the first week now. There's a reason why they are saying say don't do it in the first week because Ebiana they are the parents stock were already vaccinated, so there is some form of maternal antibody still present in the animals. So if you go ahead and then you go and do your Newcastle again now, Newcastle for now woman, I say kakrananka a war honum, and then the two of them will cancel out, and then you increase the chances of you getting the Newcastle infection. Both will be Newcastle there be you, but we call vet almost still me one in Newcastle. Okay, so it's very important. Always try and comply with the chart now. Yeah, the baby but so when you be there, then you can the one that VSD has given us. So just as we always do, we talk about some few general recommendations. By doing this, it helps to reduce the chances of the infection coming on your farm. And then we just can't stress the concept of biosecurity enough because that is the main thing. It helps to reduce the spread of infections everywhere. Okay, so once your biosecurity is on point, and then you are very diligent, it you might not even need to even use antibiotics on your farm because you're already crying back on in the first place for you to need antibiotics to use. So please ensure proper biosecurity measures on your farm, proper disinfection, proper cleaning. Always make sure say everything that you're doing is on point because these are the measures that help to reduce the spread of infections. Okay, so before you start a cycle, if I say you're a new farmer, half an hour here, 2 weeks before, no, you can even just go and pour the disinfectant there and paper and mop him free on. Just leave it there, let it dry out on its own. You spray all the corners. Don't go and clean it there or go and rinse it with water. No. Now later on, after they will sawdust and be no, a week before, you can just go and spray it again. So then can be crowd or sawdust in crowd. This the second spray will help to reduce it. When the animals come to, you can do the spraying again. When we cycle now, all tongue will spend layers. No, all tongue bears the free honuma. By the following day, go and clear the litter. Obi honum beja litter no honuma till say why ready say or be another batch. But the more now litter nature honum no. So say pathogens nature litter name. So they are developing, proliferating. No more shisha walls, omo who yet ding our environment. Okay, so immediately you are done with a cycle, a rearing phase. No, the following day na clearly no, then you come and pour your disinfectant there because ABS is no, you might not get the infection, no, but by the time why 3, 4, 5 years, because me share poultry, I mean, I read that, but all this one, no, the virus or the other pathogens over there are mutating. Till by the time we do 4, 5 years, 6 years, no, na pathogens no ho ayɛ den ama sesia no regular medron kwanka wo de be mo ama take care of the infection no, it will not work because the pathogens on your farm have mutated. Okay, so immediately you are done with a rearing phase, clear everything. A honuma what wash it, what is infected will drink so ko pack ni go honum. We already now be use what clean them with the disinfectant and fresh water again. Maybe one workers, oh, my cleaning who did that and who then directly they come and give it to new bears. But for all you know, we stated earlier that all these things can be formites. Formites may be the pathogens can reside on, and then you will not see with your eyes, but not more honum. So please always disinfect immediately you are done with any rearing phase. All your equipment, all your drinkers, feeders, we clean now they are question on them until you have need for them again. When you need it, you disinfect them again before you use them. The next one is comply with your vaccination schedule. Schedule not see your way first, I do that one first. Okay, say your way second, I do that one second. Okay, say oh now we now many sika intimate me and go to next week. I'll go and buy it. No. So I'm wondering try and buy it and do it according to the schedule. Okay. And then another thing. So let's say you want to do your vaccination, but that week the animals are sick, you are doing treatment. You are not supposed to vaccinate because we don't vaccinate sick animals. No. Also, we get treatment and I'm one before you can go ahead and do your vaccination. Okay, because vaccination is very stressful. So if you've not cleared the infection, with your treatment again, so completely from there, there's a high possibility say you will record a lot of mortalities after you've done the vaccination. And then we don't want to lose animals, we don't want to lose birds because these birds are expensive. Feed our to now because of your negligence they are coming to die. You are running at a loss. So please don't vaccinate sick bears. Child say second week, that's a 1 year. You have to wait. When you are done with the treatment, then the following week, why vaccination? Okay. Don't say oh, child this is second week. My main one they are ill, so I'm still doing the vaccination. No, you make matters worse. Next one is to maintain cold chain. So say when a vaccine, they are two eyes one mouth. It's because we want to maintain the cold chain and the potency of the vaccine to still be at a high level. But what turn out we to me koto anopa. By the time we do fear the comma bears no, it's already in 12 in the afternoon. Meanwhile, one toy even food was nimpo or to the ebubu na ya mexi amamono. You get it? When you could do fear nothing, no ice block now. I want to near. Forget it. Potency of the vaccine now is now going down. It's already going down. It's very low. And you might not achieve the desired results nanka person vaccine at the mount. So always maintain cool chain. So what I tell my farmers is that an opana opa even the day before bunsuna will be mixing vaccine. Yes, you and I catch you say you mix in 50 liters of water. What's a issue AC on that? Into koto buy na nya fi na bu nsuo ako yi drinkers ni feeders no. Everything is ready for you. So by the time you are getting on the farm, the first thing you are doing is mixing and then administering. Okay, so this is very important. Else, already you are already starving the birds of water, and then water is very important in egg production. So please try and make some of these things. But is some of these little things now? It goes a long way to help you. Some of these little things now it shows the difference between very good farmers and then obi oye bibi akeke. Okay. Next one is proper cash disposal and then litter management. I've talked a bit about the litter management. They say whenever we are rearing way na clear the litter. Let's just say any disinfectant and then you don't pack your litter and then a dine or family when it rains, some of these things will seep through it. That's a good farm home. Okay, so a yanka clear litter and you are taking it away off the farm. Let it be away from your farm as much as possible because all the pathogens are inside the litter. Nyama na ebe ma abua na yare no ni nyina wo litter ni Nti sɛ adeɛ no bɛma no ayare na sɛ wasan de ato hɔ nom a wɔabɛsan akɔtie mu obɛkɔ akɔdi agorɔ mu kraman bi a ɔwɔ hɔ nom bɛkɔ akɔtietie mu na wasan kɔ pen nim. Okay, so some of these things we don't really notice, but these are some of the ways that we end up spreading pathogens on the farm. It's the same with the kakasu. Bird who are just wait out to anymore no pro. No. Have proper carcass and then litter management procedures on your farm. Because all these way means that pathogens end up proliferating, multiplying, and then causing more infections on your farm. So you should be very careful about some of these things. And also buy your birds from trusted sources. Acosta saying the birds are very good. Vaccination also so once you are buying the birds from trusted sources and you know say okay, at least the vaccination I will say it has been done. But will baby now say you are not really sure of what they've done. Obana baby be it will go against you. Okay, it will go against you. So we should be careful and mindful about some of these things. Because we end up causing illness on the farm. So general recommendations, proper disinfection. We production na what clear later we see honum we disinfectant take go on. Vaccination schedule you comply to it to the latter. Proper cold chain maintenance. So even farmers who are anything above 500, I'll just tell you, just buy the food dose preco. Because difference name, let's assume say even difference name is 200 cedis or 300 cedis. Say the auto the ebu any full one now. Difference name 500 cedis. Krana say one tough one no way no. If you lose 10 animals, the compounding effect and then the compounding loss will be already scan out the top bears no. You have to back 10 cedis cry. We lose 10 animals. A hundred quite 100 Ghana. You are no made from day or ABC whenever they die. No, we are no count. You have no yet. We 15 cedis cry. Say no 115 cedis now. We lose it, and then number of eggs are will be able to amount for at least 1 year. We have to the people 1 year. 1 year no 365 no. And no divide by 10. And no quite chess. I will be only 10 crate one so. Okay. What on back 50 cedis? I will be only about 500 cedis one so. That because of what say food dose no 1 year 500 penty. Person will be wasting now. Una will work because if they should die from that infection now, say more 2 pe from that infection. A person will vaccinate your you are losing bare 1,000 cedis from 2 animals. In the anka a cattle castle now to full those no will be maintaining cold chain na it's way better because if you have food those no between the able difference you have 500 cedis krana and katu pe will lose 2,000 cedis. You are saving yourself some extra 500 cedis. Okay, so these are some of the maths that we don't usually calculate, some economics that we don't usually do, but what could be a you are losing close to over 8 to 10 crates, and it's very serious. Okay, so we should be mindful of some of these things. What vaccine the whole morning say try out to feed aka once and work feed now doing alcohol once. No, it won't help. So we should be mindful of some of these things. So to go over everything, we've said that Newcastle is a viral disease. It is highly contagious. It easily spreads, and it is zoonotic. It can affect human beings, and then it is usually transmitted through the air and then the environment. The air, whilst they are breathing, whilst they are sneezing, whilst they are coughing, the infected animal can be shedding the virus in the environment, and once it enters the environment, other animals will pick it up. Wild birds will bring it onto the farm. You, the human being, you step in it, you carry it along, you become a mechanical vector, and then transmit it to other places. And we've seen that some of the ways we can identify it and realize that there are three main ways that the infection can present itself. We have the respiratory, that one the animals will be coughing, sneezing, gasping for air. We have the what's the next one? The nervous, they'll be showing signs of tremors, depression, paralysis. There'll be torticollis, omukonachia, and then they'll be circling, usually seen in the local bears. And then there's the digestive one, usually you see the greenish watery stools. And then in laying bears, you would notice that you get a drop in egg production, and then soft shelled eggs, and then poorly formed eggs. And we've stated that you can't treat the infection. You can only give things to help support and then improve how the animal will react to the infection. You can't treat it. No, it's a virus. The best you can do is to give supportive care. And then with regards to ways to prevent it, you are talking about biosecurity and then your vaccination. And then by controlling it, you need your biosecurity again. So I think that's it. That's it for today. So if there are any questions on this topic that we just discussed, the floor is open for you to ask your questions. Newcastle is very important, and then if you are not careful, you can lose a lot of animals and it will affect your production, even if they don't die. All right, thank you. Over to you, Da Costa.
Okay, Doc. Thank you. Thank you. So, question time. You can just type in your questions either on the WhatsApp page. We are monitoring the WhatsApp page. We are monitoring the Facebook and the YouTube page. You can also come live and ask your question. Now, if you want to come on live and ask your question, we have pinned a link. We have pinned a link. So this is the link. We have pinned a link on the comments section on Facebook and and YouTube. So you can click on the link and join us here to ask your questions. If you want to type, to just type on the Facebook comment section, and your question will be read. So we are giving the chance for question time. And Doc, Obi question is say or saying like according to say I say, can I disinfect whilst the bears are in the pen?
Yes, you can. So ways we do that is first of all, I know maybe our clean new drinkers, new feeders now. You use some disinfectant in it. Okay, and then you can be spraying, and they're not regularly, but say maybe I arena back on now as a means of disinfection. You can be using maybe patholite to spray in the pen. This helps to reduce the chances over there. But one thing I found at the same time here is to clean the feeders and drinkers. We will run the farm no now. The amount of fecal matter on the feeders and drinkers are still the animals are eating from. It's very serious. Okay. But these things are supposed to be cleaned on a regular basis with at least disinfectant, not raw water. No. You clean with raw water and then you clean again with um, a solution that has disinfectant in it. Yes, so you can do disinfection whilst the animals are in there.
Okay. So what kind of disinfectants can be used for that?
Yes. So this one you can be using. So while the animals are there, no, I prefer to use the milder ones. So patholite, aggressor, those ones you can use. But ABR before the animals get in, no, you'll be using omnicide, quinside, D4, those kind of disinfectants. No. But while the animals are the sort of way, no, it's very corrosive. they usually end inside side no. Queen side no is very corrosive. So you should be careful while doing it whilst that mass are there. So you can use those ones, but also we use a very high dilution rate so that it tones it down a bit for you. But to be on the safe side, you can be using Patholite and then the others while the best are there. But in periods of infection, you'll be using the Queen side, Omni side, and then very strong ones.
Okay, thank you, Doc. And someone is also asking, says, so which medications can you give to your birds when they are coughing?
Yes. So now today I'm focusing on just Newcastle, okay?
Okay,
As I said, the coughing or the signs of CRD no, are not limited to only CRD. Other infections can cause CRD too. Okay. Usually,
okay,
the most common drugs that we use to treat coughing and things like that are maybe Tylosin, Tylodox, those line of drugs. But ubose obeya bana yare no enko. It is because it is not CRD, regular CRD na unim no. Ebi foforo na air cause here no. So last time you remember that someone asked the question, say, "Oh no, best no." Omenya CRD, one more Tylodox, all the various types of the Tylodox drugs on the market, but still it's not working. And I was telling him, say there could be a high possibility, say, maybe I would no is the Newcastle kind. Maybe I would you need to do your Lasota or your Newcastle again, but it might not be the bacteria one but the drugs you usually use to treat coughing, sneezing, those respiratory infections in there is the Tylodox. You can even use enrofloxacin. In young birds, you can use pen strip, but in the older birds, you can be using Tylodox, Tylodex, Doxin 200. All these are good drugs that you can use for the coughing and
okay,
sneezing and respiratory infections. But say if you know your respiratory, hey, say Newcastle it will not work because I told you say you can't treat the viruses, you can only manage it. Okay. Yes.
okay,
Thank you.
okay. So another question, it says, so the vaccine lasts only 2 hours. So after drinking it within the 2 hours, can I give them plain water or vitamins to drink?
Exactly. Yes. So
Okay,
it's true. So yeah, and you can continue with plain water or vitamins. Usually, I recommend that you give them the vitamins because, to some extent, the vaccine stresses the animals. So by giving them the vitamins or any anti-stress, it helps to reduce the stress now Emmanuel might be going through. So always couple your vaccinations with some vitamins or anti-stress or even glucose. Okay, during that period, no, oh
okay,
yeah, vaccination. Maybe the day before you can put them on some glucose or some vitamins. Your vaccination, if you are then continue with another administration of the vaccines or of the vitamins or the glucose again.
okay, okay, okay. So think we so far we've answered the questions that has been written. So if you want to join in and ask your question too, you are welcome. Uh, this link, the link that is showing, mm, you can always click on it and join and ask your question. But this particular program is brought to you by two companies, mm, Mpuntu Farms and Jokovet. And Doctor happens to be MD for Jokovet. So we are the sponsors. We are the sponsors. And anytime you need anything poultry, mm, you can contact us. You can contact us. We are in Puntu Farms. We are located at Taifa, Achimota. So if you need day chicks, layers, broilers, cockerels, we have Plymouth, white cocks, whichever day or chick you want, we will get some for you. Mm. We have the imported ones and the locally hatched ones. So if you need any of them, you can contact us. And my number is 0249261469. I would also like a doctor to also mention his number if he wish to mention his, because sometimes dog I am for how to do it. So
So you, whenever they
if
want to contact me, they can reach me through you. So
okay,
they can contact you. Yeah.
okay, so uh I think we have two other questions, and we can try and end today's session. So let's do justice to the two other questions. So Amstech Amnet Technology is asking that, is it advisable? Let me show the question. It says, is it advisable to buy the vaccine and keep it in a fridge so that when my vaccine time is due, I can pick it and use?
Yes. Once you can assure yourself, say you'll be able to maintain the cold chain throughout the period while the vaccine is not being used. Okay. So let's say usually the importance of the vaccine, as Frank has been saying, they have standby generators. Once the light goes off, immediately these things take over and then they maintain your cold chain for you. But way be a no, too quiet, you are not at home, the light goes off, you are not so sure of some of these things. They are, you shouldn't do that. But if you know very well that you'll be able to maintain the cold chain, you can do that. So what you can do is maybe you can buy at least 2 weeks in advance, but you don't go and buy the Amex. No. The Amex it has started working and then the 2 hours to 3 hours is dead. No. So all person is you have to buy the full dose, no, and then make sure that you'll be able to maintain your cold chain until the period when the vaccine will be needed.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Doc. So the last question, Mamifua says, so when Newcastle affect the best, sometimes the eggs might look imbecile, pale color, and pullet eggs. So I want to ask, is that true?
Yes, that's very true. So if you realize that in the previous slide, no, I mentioned it affects egg production. Let me see if I can get that one for you. Okay, so I stated here, maybe I digest you know one. I said decreased egg production, soft shelled eggs, and then malformed eggs. So usually you can get the pullet eggs again. As having a motion say this, your eggs will become soft. Once they are white and a dot is home. These are all
Okay.
malformed eggs. Okay, so these are all signs of the Newcastle now. I stated here. So these are common ones I thought that farmers now to me, especially in laying bears. No? So we realize that oh, we 1 2 months, 3 months on the vaccination, and then all of a sudden the production has a buffer because you are not a star be the shape is not on point. There are achia, there are petications, there are white patches on it. All these can be signs of the Newcastle. No? So that's very true, just as you were saying.
Okay. Nti dog biribi saa no na yɛ sɛ yɛhu kosua bi a dot dot wɔ ho a na yɛ sɛ mmoa no anya Newcastle ana?
No, so it could
Okay.
be. Tie bi a vet ba anaasɛ wode bi kɔ VSD hɔnom a ɔbɛtumi akyerɛ wo on authority say this is it. Okay, but this is
Okay.
to let you know so that ebia wote on maybe a bare 4 months, 5 months, when your vaccination, it will just draw your attention. Say it could be Newcastle. Then let me go and do it. Okay,
Okay.
this is just to sort of give you an idea. Tie ebia we are no bare 3 weeks near. bare 2 weeks and then you are seeing it. Okay, so all these things can draw your attention. Say, Abia, vaccine one year. Obi say, farmer be or buy a honum. Or you sue automatic drinkers. But koto vaccine na, on fangu tank ni. Automatic na say no they can crash or honum. Then they drink that one. But I'll be sad also why the Newcastle vaccination. But we won't get vaccination because I don't know if you are supposed to mix it in 50 liters. That's a whole mix in honum na. Or say I know the or no where the map best now 5 minutes no man do the way. But I don't work that way. So this and later obinya Newcastle now because whatever say no na anye juma, but that's not the case. Okay. So this is
Okay.
to just draw your attention so that ABA first aid no, in addition to consulting your vet, you can start something and then ABA later mortality is bad, then you send it to VSD so that they know how best to help you going forward. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Doc, thank you very much. I think today we've all learned a lot, and today too the network was very, very helpful, and we've been able to grasp whatever was said today. So, Doc, next week, do you have a topic for us, or you,
Uh,
you, you will inform us later?
I'll inform you later on during the week. Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you very much. And
All right.
as I said, this program is sponsored by Mpuntu Farms and Jokovet. With so the name of the program is Time with Dr. Cheme. And when it comes to poultry, or let's say when it comes to poultry and livestock medications, you can't bypass Jokovet because they are distributors of some serious medications. And I think with time, Doc will introduce some of these medications to us. We have a lot of farmers that are really testifying on these medications, and it is helping them seriously, especially with layer farmers. So, if you are a layer farmer and you are watching this, next time, I think by next week, maybe doctor will give us some gist on some of these medications that will help you increase your production, and you will love it if you start using them. Ah, one kasa obeba. So I think we will call it a close. We thank all of you, those who joined, those who asked questions. Please, next week or any other day that we come on live, kindly share. Share for other farmers or other people to also join and learn. Okay. Today we had quite a handful of people, and the questions too also came. But uh, kindly share if you are on any farmers platform, share for other people to also uh, see it, because it will help all of us. Sometimes, as Doc said, with the Newcastle, it's very contagious. So maybe you are a farmer and there is this other farmer close to you. If that farmer doesn't take care of his or her biosecurity well, because that person really lacks some certain kind of knowledge, it may come to your farm. Maybe you've been watching us, but you've not shared it. You've not told anybody about this particular program. So when we come on live, kindly share the Facebook or the YouTube link for other people to also join and benefit. Because if they don't know and they practice anyhow, they might some of these diseases might end up getting to your farm. Okay, so thank you for coming this evening, and see you next week. Bye bye.